And hello, hello, hello. My name's Felix.
And this is Prince. We are from Ledger CS.
And yeah, we're here to answer any of the questions you might have, how you want to operate your device, if you're having any trouble. I think especially if you are needing support and maybe you haven't received a response, these are all things that we can try to help you guys out with. Yeah, what I normally always mention first up is just never give out your 24 words. We won't ask to put your 24 words into any website or anything like that. We won't send you a DM, anything like that as well. And don't sign in transactions you don't trust. That's pretty much.
And do not interact with any scammy NFTs. Also, anyone asking for your 24 words is a scammer. And there are only two official accounts on Twitter. It's like at ledger_support and at ledger. And we don't have any personal accounts on Twitter. So anyone trying to be say they're working for impersonating Ledger, it's a completely fake one.
Yeah, there's definitely something that's happening a lot, right? Like you get people, I think especially now with people being verified or looking like they're verified when they're paying for the what do you call it, the Twitter Blue. It's quite confusing. So definitely keep cautious, and we'll go from there. I guess we'll start off with some of the first stuff. Jackie Moon, hello. If you have a question, yeah, pop it in the chat. We'll try to get those sorted for you. I see that, Sahil. Nice, I guess. Yeah, yeah. But Jackie, you did have a question there. You're wondering if there would be any partnerships with you mentioned the Wide team. It's not something that I'm directly aware of at the moment, but what I normally suggest is just keep an eye out on our Twitter, on YouTube. Partnerships are normally something we love to shout out about. I think the other maybe small thing I'd always mention is you can always go into our Discord as well, because a lot of the devs would hang out on Discord too. So it could be a good place for you to just scope that out, maybe something like that. You'll be able to hear about that as well.
Yep. Next is Johnny Interesting, and he has an interesting question, by the way. How many crypto steel have been sold by ratio to Ledger, you estimate? Or when can I find this information? Ledger must be around 6 million now, so wondered if peeps are conscious of how insecure paper is. So that's a good question. And that I got this question, I think, quite some time back. So I don't have the answer for it right now, because since the sales have also increased. But we can definitely check for you, Johnny, and then I think the next session we can come back and give you an accurate answer for this.
I think it's a good point as well, because the paper is probably the thing. It's not going to last forever, right? Of course, and you don't want to input it anywhere that's digital. Johnny would probably use something like Crypto Steel. There's the Bill Fodl, Crypto Zeus, all that you can find on our shop, and they're great ways to store the seed phrase as well. Yeah, it's definitely something you should consider. If that once you have the device, you understand everything, this will be a great way to also have an extra piece of security there, peace of mind.
Yep, and all these devices that you see on our website are being tested against fire test, acid test, so they're completely safe to use them. And yeah, it will provide an extra layer of security to your seed phrase, basically.
So thanks, Jackie, for the question as well. Sahil, you've got a question here mentioning, is the Discord the same as the Ledger Market Pass one? There is a section with Ledger Market Pass holders, as well as the developers. It might be something you want to add the role for as well, if you don't see the actual channels. But these are channels for devs, especially outside devs that want to integrate Ledger, Ledger login or something like that into their site. It's where a lot of people would go. A lot of devs would go, just ask a quick question if they need to or anything like that. But we always have docs as well. I think it's developers.ledger.com right at the top of my head. But yes, to properly answer the question, Sahil, that is the same one. But you can always check the link at developers.ledger.com just to make sure as well if you're worried.
Yep, and don't fall for any fake links, because there are a lot of fake links out there with fake apps, so be careful.
I think as well, even in the Discord, there's going to be people like trying to DM you. They're going to say that they're working for Ledger 2. We really don't like just DM you to help you with something. We want to try and do everything out in the open. Otherwise, if you needed something, like let's say you needed to share something with us, you can go to support.ledger.com, and then there'll be the help center articles and stuff like that. But we've also got the contact us button, bottom right hand side, which would be here, and then you can contact us there if this was your screen.
Yep. And so now we don't have any more questions. So Elkis is saying CryptoTag. So yeah, CryptoTag is also one of the CryptoSteel solution that we sell on our website. So that's also one, you can go for it, or you can go for Buildfordle, whichever suits your needs and suits the hiding place which you want to hide that particular thing at.
There's definitely there's basically an infinite number of ways you can kind of think about the security solution. So it's really about like what you think is best for you and what you want to do and what you want to remain like secured against, right? So like for me, I don't want to dox myself too much, but like I have one copy somewhere, one copy another place with someone I trust, you know, family, maybe really close friends, those kinds of things. Jackie, you mentioned, just to confirm, even if I update Ledger's firmware, that doesn't automatically sign me up for Ledger Recover, correct? That is correct. There was a good amount of FUD on Twitter when Recover went live. That is true. I think one thing that I'd suggest is actually reading through the white paper. Even when I read through it, it's a very in-depth read. I actually read, supporting papers as well to make sure my understanding was there for everything else too. It's something that I'd really suggest if you really want to get into the thick of it. But to answer your question, 100%, you do not automatically sign up for Ledger Recover. That is exactly right.
Next is Jordan Ryan. Hey guys, why didn't Ledger just bring out the update dedicated to the new hardware device rather than making every Ledger compulsory to download the new update? So basically, the new update is inside the firmware, and it's completely optional. You can even use your device without updating the firmware of the device. It's just that you won't be able to use Ledger Live. You can just use a third-party front end, and still your private keys are secured by the device. And guys, like the new service is completely optional. It's like only if you confirm the transaction, like how you confirm a send or receive transaction with your device, then only that feature will be activated. It's not activated by default, so you have nothing to worry about basically.
I think that question as well is part of the FAQ. Right off the top of my head, that specific question, Jordan. You can double check that if it should be there if I remember correctly. Yeah. But yeah, definitely check that out. Furious Fox, I unfortunately don't speak French that well yet, but I can tell obviously you're talking about stacks. Just keep an ear out. We're just trying to get the best thing out for you guys. I know you guys are really keen to get it in hand. I mean, I am too. So
yeah, exactly.
So like we'll be the first ones to let you know. Trust me. Like I'm probably gonna tweet from my like own personal account. Do you know what I mean? Like we're really keen to get it. So like don't get me. We're just as excited as you are. So I'll definitely pass on the feedback though. I get it 100%.
And we also thank you for your patience, guys, because I know it's been long since we told you about the Dev stacks and everything. But yeah, it's coming soon, guys. That's what we wanted to bring it to you as soon as possible.
Hello, 77. I do recognize you from earlier this week. Yes. Hopefully, hopefully you can count on us to pass the feedback, and yeah, we'll definitely let them know. We'll give them help. Don't worry. Like we're keen too.
Yeah, and we are here every week, every day, so you can just reach out to us, and then we'll keep updating you as much as updates we get. We'll keep on trying to stay.
Yeah, because there's one every there's multiple times every week. Monday, I'm on Tuesday most of the time. There's Wednesday on Twitter, Thursdays today. So we try to reach out to you guys as much as we can. I mean, if you have any questions, this is where we're going to try to answer them and everything like that.
Yep, and we can also talk about the new Ledger Live, the Ledger Live app version that has been released. So it's called version 2.62.2. And now with the new version, guys, there were a few bugs that were pending for a long time. So there was one with Solana where they were even not able to add an account in Ledger Live, and another one was where you can not able to sign the fee, unbond your Polkadot using the staking unstake feature. And so that has been fixed now. So just update your Ledger Live desktop to 2.62.2, And also we are rolling out the new Ledger Live mobile version, that is 3.26, which has been be rolled out I think by 10% of the users already, like Android users. And once everything is smooth, then we're going to roll out to everyone.
There's just a couple of questions there as well. I see 177. You mentioned you're wondering why Hedera address doesn't change. With Bitcoin, it does change, and you're 100% right there. There's a couple of things. I guess this is why we got into the business, right? Because we're passionate. But with Bitcoin, they use a model called UTXO, and essentially they would have we would have you use a different address for each transaction for privacy reasons. I'm sure it's something you know by the sounds of things. The Hedera, same thing with like something like Ethereum, for example. They don't change the addresses. With why, I think it's just up to the whoever created the system in the first place or the protocol and how they wanted to set it up. I mean, even with Bitcoin, for example, you can actually still use the addresses that you were using before. They are still controlled by the same, extended private key that you would be using previously, right? So, still something that you can do. Every transaction, is it because it's not fully supported with Ledger? That wouldn't be the case. It's just a difference in how it works in particular. So, that should be. Hopefully that answers the question, but if I missed anything, definitely let me know, because yeah, we'll try to go through that for you as well.
Perfect. Next we have Apple. Oh, that's a nice name. How do I set the fees to transfer Ethereum? So if you're talking about Ledger Live, so you just have to go on Ledger Live, click on send, and once you go to the amount, you'll see there are 3 options over there. It's slow, medium, and fast. So if you choose slow, there will be less transaction fees, and if you choose fast, it will be more. And if you want to also, if you click on above the fees, there will be small 2 boxes on the side. It's called standard and advanced. And once you click on advanced, you can also select the gas limit if you want to change that as well. So, but be careful, if you select low gas limit, your transaction will get stuck and your fees will still be get deducted. So be careful of not choosing too low fees when sending the transaction.
Cool. So we got Jackie Moon asking about creating multiple ERC wallets in your Ledger Nano S. So I'm assuming you mean like the EVM wallets, like that start with a 0x, right? If that's what you mean in particular, you can actually just do that by adding a new account. That's definitely possible. They will be all derived from the same recovery phrase, and you will be able to manage them all separately. From the outside though, they'll still appear totally separate until you transfer between them, for example. And then they'll at least on chain, you'll be able to see that those transfers have been there. So definitely possible to create multiple EVM addresses, just add a new account. Now, one thing that you might find if you're adding like lots of accounts at the same time is that you will only be able to add one at a time. Reason for that would be, well, actually, first I'll mention what we're hoping Ledger Live will tell you that you'll need to do is you'll need to make a transaction with one of the accounts that doesn't have any. We just wanted to make sure that, my understanding with the devs is they wanted to make sure that it's as simple as possible. And if people add like 50 accounts and things like that, it might become quite confusing. A way around that would be that you could use something like a browser wallet with the Connect Hardware Wallet feature. Something like MetaMask and Rabby and Tahoe. They all have the ability to connect your hardware wallet, and then you can add multiple addresses without having interact with them at all. They're going to remain the same because they use a specific derivation path to get a deterministic address. So you'll be able to get those same addresses all through those wallets. But yeah, either way, you should be able to do it in Ledger Live if you have a transaction at each address. And you should be able to do it with all the other wallets if you just wanted to do it without any transactions. So hopefully that answers that question.
Perfect. Next is Jody. Thanks guys, I have another question. I'm currently staking Solana with Ledger for the last 3 months. How can I see my staking gains, or is this possible? So that's a good question. So staking Solana in Ledger Live is a little different from other blockchains that you might be staking your assets on. So your staked rewards are added to your stake balance basically. So that's why you'll see the balance will keep on increasing. However, you will not see the rewards directly inside the Ledger Live because there's no transaction happening. It's just like occurring itself every day. Or you can go to Solana Beach and you can copy and paste your receiving address for Solana there, and then it will show you all the rewards in the reward section. We also have a Help Center article on our website that I will link right now that you can use to and follow the steps on that article to get the rewards basically.
Right. So next up, we have 77 just mentioning that you did find it odd with Hedera. It would be nice. It's definitely an interesting thought that I sometimes have, because there definitely are advantages of UTXO based chains. That privacy part is a big feature, in my opinion, as I'm sure you agree. I do like the simplicity though of the Ethereum style, where you have the one address and you know that and things like that. So I think there are trade-offs as well. So definitely something you could bring up with them. They might consider it. I'm not sure if it's something they could implement, but yeah, never hurts to ask, right? But with Jackie, with a follow-up question, you mentioned if I add an additional account one day and down the road I decide to delete it, is that possible? And if that is possible, if then try to create a new account and then that deleted account pop up. So when you create the account and then you can't actually delete the account. What I'll actually kind of mention as well, hopefully I won't be too confusing, would be that the accounts aren't actually, the accounts are already there, so to speak. So when you have your private key and it derives a specific set of addresses and they're just always there. When you add them, you use the derivation path, you use an index 0, let's say, an account 0, and that'll give you that specific address. And that address at that derivation path, let's say 00, will always be, let's say, 0xa. 01 might be 0xb, and so on and so forth. And that will always be that way. If you change the derivation path, if you change the private key, so if you have a different recovery phrase, if you add a passphrase, for example, it'll change the address. But it's not really possible to delete the account. What will happen is it'll remove it from Ledger Live and you just won't see it. And then when you re-add it, you'll be able to see it again. And I think in that way, why might you delete an account from Ledger Live, but still want it to be up on chain? Imagine you have a passphrase account that you want to manage, but then you wanted to like remove because you don't want anyone else that uses the computer to know about it. That's the kind of thing that you might remove an account for. But yeah, you technically wouldn't be deleting an account, you'd just be removing it from the visibility of Ledger Live.
Perfect. Next is Sikran. Hi Pringles, how it's going? It's going well. So Sikran, if you have any questions, you can ask me and I will answer you live. But if not, then guys, we're still here for at least 1 hour. Not 1 hour, but like at least half an hour more. So if you have any questions, you can drop them in the chat and we'll answer them live, just how we are doing right now. But yeah, just make the most of it. If you don't have many questions, then I think we can wrap it up early as well. So
yeah, we don't want to leave if you guys still have any questions. So yeah, pop them in the chat. We'll be here. Any ticket numbers you have, anything that you need help with, we'll be here to try and answer them as best we can. But yeah, definitely feels like a lot's been happening in the crypto space. It's just feels like we're waiting for the incoming bull market. Yes. No financial advice, but I got asked this question actually on my last stream, and they were like, what do you expect the price to be? And I think specifically with the BlackRock ETF, and if it is approved, maybe we're going to be very high.
Yeah, Bitcoin
no financial.
So it's the sign of green. So I think it's going to follow. So if this stays as well, then I think we'll have a lot of customers going to be making a lot of money, who have saved and try to buy as much as they can during the down market basically. So yeah.
Yogesh has got a good question. I want to ask, is staking on Lido safe? So I think, first of all, Lido, huge, probably multi-billion-dollar company, I think. So yes, 77, sorry. Sorry, Yogesh, but yeah, I think I didn't realize it was you. Sorry, I'll just pop in closer for you, Yogesh. But so with regards to staking on Lido, it's the kind of thing that is generally safe, as long as you also want to understand, the risks that could be involved, right? So first of all, there would be the risk of Lido potentially going out of business. However big or small that is, would be up to you to decide. There would also be the risk of you losing your assets, and how that might come about is going to affect your risk. And so, in terms of making sure to avoid that, the kinds of things, if you're using Lido, it would be just to make sure you keep your 24 words safe and don't sign any transactions that are malicious. And those are generally going to be like scam NFTs and things like that. Now, I also always, when I speak about Lido, I always really like to go into how it works, because it's really important to then understand how it's different from, solo staking, how it's different from, Rocket Pool, for example, which is a form of that as well. So Lido takes care of both the infrastructure. They run the nodes themselves, the validators, and they are the ones that put in those 32 ETH at a time into the smart contracts, right? They then deploy a token, the STETH token, to you, so that you can hold that as your portion of the staking, right? If when I think it's every midnight UTC, that rebases, so you'll get the yield that you'll normally get from your rebase, right? So that's how it works. If you lose the token, the assets would be gone, and obviously that's not what we want. If, for example, Lido goes down, then it's up to Lido to give you back what your portion of what the token represents. So hopefully that answers most of the question, and obviously if there's any security concerns, we'll try to answer it best we can, and obviously Lido would be a good place to go to as well about specific security concerns too. Hopefully I didn't ramble too much, but yeah, that's hopefully that answers your question there, Yogesh.
Perfect. And I don't think we have any more questions for now.
Yeah. Don't know if you guys have any more questions. We'll still try to be here if you guys want to answer as much as we can. Here we go. Jordan, I like this question. Something we'll both answer, I hope. What are your top 3 crypto YouTubers you follow, or top 3 places to learn about crypto? This is a cool one. First, I would say what I was just listening to today would be The Bell Curve. They're a YouTube podcast stream kind of thing that goes deep into like some really cool topics. They just had one about MEV. They're just starting to talk about liquid staking, which is Lido, for example, on season 5. So it's something that I personally watch. No relation or anything like that. Bankless is a very big one as well. Our CTO has actually been on there too, so definitely a good one to keep an eye out for. I don't know that I have a third one, honestly. I just try to read as many papers as I can or anything like that. Yeah, if you want to, I don't have any more. So what about YouTubers?
For me, I think YouTubers, I don't follow anyone. Like I follow because at Ledger we learn a lot every day. So we don't need to go outside to get some external knowledge. We have like many people like going through different crypto knowledge every day. So they give us and then we share this knowledge and we grow together. So for me, specifically, I don't have any particular YouTubers. I just follow the information that we already get from our customers, first of all, because they're the one who's entering to different dApps and DEXs and all DeFi basically. And overall, we learn as we work for Ledger. So I think, yeah.
All right. Just a heads up, 77. I don't think we saw your question. Last one I saw was that it was you that asked about the BlackRock ETF. So if there was something, sometimes YouTube like kind of blocks it out, especially if there's like an address or some kind of normally scammy keyword. So it might require, might require you to just rearrange the question, reword the question, see how you go. But with Yogesh, you mentioned, so even though ETH stays on our ledger, if something happens to Lido, then it's a risk. So the ETH actually, when you stake with ETH, so if you've got ETH and you swap it, or if you deposit it to Lido, you don't actually keep the ETH. What happens is that you send the ETH to Lido, and Lido gives you back the implementation, the token that represents your portion of the stake. So yes, if something happens to Lido in that case, it definitely is a risk for sure. All right. Next question.
66 ANPU. I recently bought a Ledger Nano S Plus, and I heard that there was forced update that was compromised the security and that has changed. And heard rumor it was, but would like to know from the source. So I think you're talking about the new firmware update that was released, but it was only released for Nano X users and not Nano S Plus. So for now, it doesn't concern the Nano S Plus users. And the feature is the new feature, which is called Ledger Recover, which is used to back up the seed phrase in case someone like new users or someone with a lot of assets, they have like a copy that will be saved, and then they can every time they just ask us, and then we can just give it back to them. But of course, it's a completely optional. It's not default. It's not, and if it's not live yet, first of all, so don't have to worry about that. It's just FUD, and that has been calmed down slowly and steadily.
I think one thing to mention as well, like the updates are always going to be things that will potentially add new features. In this case, it was Ledger Recover. There might be bug fixes, and anything that you do where you interact with the secret or on the device is going to require consent. That's just the security model that the Ledger devices work with. So in terms of like anything like that, I would totally be consider that like just flat out false, basically. If there's anything more specific, I'm always happy to answer them as well, as we normally do.
And just to end with this, is like we also have a white paper that has been released, and we also own it's completely completely transparent. The communication is completely transparent. So please go through the white paper and read how the technology is, and then you can get more information from there.
All right. So Jackie Moon, you've got the question: when 10k ETH 2025? I don't know. Sorry, didn't mean to say it that way. I don't know. I'd like to hope
23 end, I would say. December 23, guys. 23 December is the.
That's yeah. I mean, you said it live on YouTube now, so wait,
I wish. Like,
remind us in what, couple months?
Couple of months. Yes.
Okay, all right. Next we had 77. Yes, because I was reading the question. If it can be disclosed, what made us prefer CoinGecko over other coin rates to provide on Ledger? Was there a thought process behind it? I don't know that I'd want to speak for like the specific developers in this case, or if I don't know if I would even know the exact reason off the top of my head, so wouldn't be something that I could necessarily answer. But
we can definitely check for you.
Yeah, it's but yeah, as far as I can tell, I mean, just even from an outsider's point of view, semi-outsider, I guess for myself, is that like I've had a better time. Personally, when I do my own projects, interacting with their API, but you know, it could be different for the devs. But it could be something I'll jot down and we'll let you know for sure.
Okay. Next is Yogesh again. Is like, if we stake DOT on Ledger and we lose our ledger, is it okay to unbond with a new ledger with the 24th phrase intact? So yeah, you're right, Yogesh. It's like your private keys are derived from the 24-word seed phrase. So as long as you have the 24-word seed phrase, you can restore it on any device and keep on continuing your managing your sets. The device is not important. It's the 24 words that is important, basically.
And if you have a passphrase as well, make sure you have that as well. Yeah. But that's about it. But you hit the nail on the head pretty much. All right. Thank you, 66 ANPU. Yeah, always happy to answer more questions. Mecha 360, you've got the question here with has Pulse Chain been integrated into Ledger Live?
No, not Ledger Live.
Not Okay, but it's something, because this is not something off the top of my head.
So it's supported, guys. So the Ledger device supports the blockchain basically. So you can create a Ledger Pulse Chain address, but you need to use MetaMask connected with your Ledger device, and then you can add the custom network, and then you'll be able to manage the funds. We have a Help Center article that I'm just tagging right now that will help you with the steps so you don't get misguided, and then you can safely create the account with your Ledger device.
All right. Next up, 77. Oh yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming you, if you are going to be on another stream, I can see if I can get an answer for you, 77. Not sure what the time frame would be, but yeah, I'll definitely try and go from there as well. Also, 77, you mentioned how many checks do you do with an update before you send it live to the public? There are definitely lots and lots and lots of checks. I wouldn't have an exact number. It'll just be making sure. It's about, I think for me, watching the guys do their work, it's about making sure that they're doing the best work that they can. And I don't think, like, making sure you hit a certain number of checks in particular, I don't think would be what they're aiming to do necessarily. It's about making sure that there is a robust system in place, not only first of all, but then also to make sure that we're releasing the best that we can be as well, especially considering security is at the core of what we do here, and making sure that you guys understand that, you know, what the devices do, how they help you, and how they keep you secure, right? So yeah, I don't know that I have an exact number, but it's definitely a really robust process for sure.
Yeah, and here at Ledger, we also think it's security is an ongoing process. It's not like you suddenly create something secure today and it's going to be secure forever. So we have an entire team dedicated to targeting the firmware and making it more secure. Each and every firmware update makes it more secure, and that's why we keep on asking the users to update the firmware, update the apps, because of course it brings like better like new blockchain supports and new protocols and new tokens, but also increases and enhances the security of your Ledger device and how someone protect you against any external attacks basically.
Yeah. All right, Yogesh, you mentioned it's the last question. You can ask as many questions as you want. Actually, that's totally fine. We might, if you ask like 100 questions, we might not get through all of them, but it's not something you should worry about at all. But you've got a question about what we stake in particular. For me, I don't want to stake with Lido, not because it's insecure, but because I think I'm a little bit of a degen, as it were. So normally I'll have what I'll do is I'll stake some tokens, for example, Atom, just to understand the process and things like that. Same with Cardano, but those aren't really things that I do as a huge amount. So like for me, it's less than 1% of my portfolio. It's probably like $5, $10 just to understand the system, make like trades with it, swaps with it, things like that. Really understand the ecosystem. The one that I would be the most involved with mostly is going to be just actually lending as opposed to staking, which is slightly different. So I don't know. I feel like I avoided the question, but it's not really what I would really be doing. What about you?
I do stake a lot of tokens, so I do stake Ethereum. So I do have stake in Lido. So I've used the feature and like we know like how it works and all. And then I've staked Solana, I've staked Cardano, I've staked Cosmos, Atom basically, and I've staked Osmosis. I think staking on Cosmos network and ecosystem, I think it has got a better APR with better tokens, I would feel. And I've also staked like Tron just for the energy and Tezos just for fun. So yeah, just like there are not Polkadot because it's too expensive and the variable limit keeps on changing. So like I'm not going to go to Polkadot. So
there is a good thing with Polkadot actually that I don't know if you guys know about it. Is you can use nomination pools, which has a lower of a minimum, but then also it does mean that it might change the APY that you're going to get. So something that you could keep in mind as well. 66 also hit the nail on the head there that you can look up what we can do within Ledger Live, and there's a whole ecosystem outside of Ledger Live as well. So like obviously we're a bit biased. We'd love for you to do everything within Ledger Live, but then if you go outside of Ledger Live, there's definitely a huge number of options where we may not support yet that we might support in the future, for example. So totally things to consider.
Perfect. Yeah, no staking warlord, man. Just we need to do it to like help customers out in case they need the help. So yeah, that's right. But it's good. It's good. Like free money. No one says no for free money. You sleep and you're still making money. So
I think that's the. I think a lot of people would. That's the goal, or like I feel like having chat with a lot of customers. This is kind of how most what the end goal of a lot of people is. It's just financial freedom, right? There are other end goals for a lot of people, and these are the kinds of things that we love, for sure. Another cool question, Jordan Ryan. Other favorite crypto excluding BTC and ETH? You're killing me here because that's exactly what I would have said. I'll have to. I think because when you talk about crypto, right, you're thinking, are you talking about like specific coins? Would it be tokens? There's like really deep. It's all about, for me personally, it's all about risk management and like weird degen plays plus like what you really believe in, what you might believe in politically, or like things like that. Those are the kinds of things that I think about. For me, it's all about trying to, I don't know, earn the most APY with the best with the least risk. Is there a token for that besides those two? Not that I'm thinking of in particular, honestly. Like, not one that I'm gonna mention because they're like kind of irresponsible for me, and that's why I put in tiny bits in here and there. But yeah, for me, you're killing me because I think I've mentioned before, I'm a bit of an ETH stan. But yeah, crypto risk averse is key. Yes, I'm pretty risk on, honestly. I used to work in TradFi and used to trade a bit as well, so that's kind of where I'm coming from. But yeah, what about you?
For me, I like the Bitcoin Ethereum guys. I don't have anything against you guys, and I love everything what Bitcoin Ethereum has brought. But I'm very much interested in Cosmos ecosystem because how it's like cross chains are connected with each other. And next is like also like the layer twos that are coming on Ethereum, like the Optimism or zkSync and all these things. So I think they're not like whichever chain is making more money and it's like easy to transact on. I feel that is going to be my favorite chain.
Yeah, no, actually, I'm silly. Like, yeah, I forgot. How did I forget? Like 90% of my stuff is on Arbitrum, right? So it's not the crypto, but the chain. I actually don't hold any ARB specifically, like ARB, but Arbitrum is where I do a lot of stuff. I do a lot of stuff on Optimism as well. Jordan, you mentioned that you're not financial. Oh, sorry, 66 ANPU. You mentioned not financial advice. The coins you really believe in right now are, I'm assuming, XRP, XLM, XDC, but those are just my selection. XRP, however, has a lawsuit. Yes, the big, I'm pretty sure like there's the one that everyone knows about, the big lawsuit, right? Wonder what will happen. We'll see. But yeah, everyone wants to make it financially. It's just like, I wouldn't call it the American dream, but yeah. Oh, Martine. No, hello. I do remember you. Why don't you go for this one first?
I don't know. Like, what's the current price of AVAX?
AVAX. I don't. Yeah, we really can't do price predictions. Honestly, it's not really what
we do here.
Yeah. I think for us, what I think I'm really passionate about, and it's just like, even though I came from those backgrounds, like I really learned really quickly. It really humbled me really quickly not to make price predictions and not just to believe in what it is you believe in, and then try to follow that from there and do it with a passion and then learn everything around it as well. AVAX is definitely something that I played around with for a long time as well. Really interesting concepts with the multi-chain and what is it? I got to remember off the top of my head. XCP.
Yes.
That's it, right?
3 years.
Okay, yeah.
Those are the 3 I know.
So yeah, I feel like we've gotten a bit of a ramble, but I hope you guys are okay. Again, guys, if you have questions, please pop them in the chat. We'll try to answer them as well. 77, you mentioned that you're going to get the crypto steel. You have, I think I have my 3 paper backups. I hope, if you mean 3 separate of the same recovery phrase, that's very what's the word? Very safe. 3 is quite a lot more than I hear most of my colleagues and friends doing actually, as well. So that's cool. I love that. We love security, obviously, as well.
Next we have is Martin. When will it be possible to add AVAX account in Ledger Live without an external external wallet basically. So we are trying. It's definitely on the roadmap to integrate AVAX, PC, and Exchange in Ledger Live. Since there are three chains, so it's a little bit complex, and then that's why it's taking a little bit more time. But of course, it's on the roadmap, and it should be coming soon. I would say.
All right. But yeah, I mean, there's no reason why using the external wallet is going to be less secure. In fact, it's something that I even working at Ledger, it's something I do every day because there are things that you might not be able to do. I think me playing around with weird smart contracts is probably something that you might not normally do, but is something that I do in interacting with the third-party wallets, right? So it's not less secure as long as you make sure that you're following the right security protocols, meaning you don't input your recovery phrase anywhere, digital or anything like that. It's only on the device itself, and then you'll be like, you input it on the device itself. You don't want to like anything that says it's going to be Ledger Live and it asks you for your recovery phrase in Ledger Live. No, that is going to be a scam. I think we mentioned it a lot as well. But yeah. What have we got here? Jordan, you mentioned that you're similar. I just hold BTC, ETH, and Sol for possible upside. I've staked Sol with Ledger for some time, for the first time. Delegated. How do I get the Sol back with the gains? You should be able to just do the withdrawal process pretty easily, and then get the returns with it as well. So that shouldn't be too much of an issue, generally speaking. Yeah, I think Sol is definitely an interesting one there as well. Definitely had its moment last cycle, right, where they definitely were in the spotlight for a very
with the Solana phone and all. I think they got pretty much traction, but now I think it's a good chain. Even I have some Solana. So it's very easy. You just have to go in Ledger Live, click on the Solana account, then there'll be a manage button on the top right. Just click on that, and then you'll be able to click on undelegate, and then just follow the steps. And then I think it will take around 3 to 4 days for the undelegated balance to be withdrawable. So it will be activated balance and it will deactivate. So that process will take 3 to 4 days. And once that is completed, you can withdraw your Solana directly to your Solana account basically. And we have a help center article that I'm going to tag, which you can use to follow the steps, Jordan.
I think it's good to know, like there's some of our colleagues that actually only sit there and they only write help center articles. We really want to try and cover everything as much as we can, and if like something's not there, we're always like really desperate to try and like get it up there and get some kind of documentation for you guys to follow, because not everyone wants to like come and always speak to someone or go through an email. You might just want to read something. That's me personally. So like we always try to make sure we have as much documentation. Head to support.ledger.com always, and then you can always just search for whatever it might be. It might take a little bit of Google foo to try and find what you want, but definitely something you can do.
Yep, and we also have like on this Ledger channel, we also have a lot of video tutorials that you can use to set up the device, manage your assets, take the assets, unbond, rebond. Everything is even the passphrase, how to set up the passphrase, how to restore your seed phrase, passphrase both. So there are a lot of videos, and you can check it out, and you don't have to wait for us. You can always like start troubleshooting by yourself. Just be careful, do not fall for any scams, because there are a lot of happening all around. So.
All right, and we just say hello to Digital Armas or Armas. Yeah, if you have a question, we should be here for another about 10-ish minutes. Shouldn't be too much longer than that. Yeah, if you have any questions, mate, yeah, pop them in the chat. We'll try to get those answered for you as best we can as well. But yeah, I think we've probably gone through. It seems like we've gone through a lot of the questions here. Oh, Paddy, when will Ledger get Casper? Is that Casper different from?
Yeah, it's different.
Oh, okay.
So the Casper team has submitted their app to us for development, and I'll just check what the exact status is. So I don't give you any false information. But yeah, it's definitely on the roadmap, but it won't be supported directly in Ledger Live. It will be supported with a third-party app at the beginning, and slowly, once it is completely understandable in the blockchain, and everything will be imported in Ledger Live. But we don't know, it will take time because it will it's like every blockchain wants to be supported with Ledger, and then we have so many devs who can do so many things at the same time. So
I think one thing, if you feel like it's taking a little bit of time, you can always just either jump on our Discord, or you can hassle the devs from the other team as well. If they're not the one, if they're the ones that are wanting to make an application, they can always come to us and then submit the application to be installed in Ledger Live, for example, and then that way you can manage assets with your Ledger device. But may not necessarily be with Ledger Live yet, but at least you get something, to continue to stay secure.
So yeah, for now we have received the app submission from the Casper team, and then it will pass through acknowledgement, security audits, and once everything is safe and secure, then we'll be releasing to the public.
All right, Digital Armis. So you mentioned a bug that you have on the website. There is a bug bounty that you can go, so you can report them online. I think it's on the Donjon.
Yep.
So yeah, if you can, I think Pringe is gonna link it in the chat, and then that way, yeah, 100% is something that we're always happy. This is part of like security, right? Like bug bounties and submission, responsible disclosure, and things like that. So yeah. Shoot it our way, and then they'll go through that with you. I think looking at it now.
Digital.
All right, so 7-7. I was thinking of doing the phrase. Just a bit worried about it in terms of forgetting. Don't have the greatest memory. Yeah, no, I agree. I have terrible memory. Honestly, it's why I'm actually excited for the quote-unquote infamous Ledger Recover. But it's something that like, if I don't have to think about it anymore, like it's gonna be sweet. So I'm definitely looking forward to like playing around with it. I think I mentioned on stream before that it may not necessarily be my exact product, but I know that there is one thing that I know I'm really excited for is when they allow us to do it ourselves, and then I'm just gonna I'm gonna do some wild stuff with it. I can't wait to do my own like Shamir secret sharing and stuff like that. That'll be cool and fun.
Next,
Digital Armors. I would just try to mention it to them first. You can read through the submission process and things like that. There's a specific process, and you'd go from there. I would definitely not suggest doing anything like illegal. I'm not necessarily saying that, but yeah, go through the submission process and go from there.
Yeah, and our team will be in touch with you within 24 hours, so you don't have to wait for a long time. So you just send them an email, and there's the link. You can find what's the submission process exactly, and yeah, you use all the instructions follow there, and you can just follow it up, and then our team will reach back to you.
7-7. Is there no backup from forgetting? I mean, other than writing it down and Ledger Recover, probably the two things that are the best solutions and solutions for those kinds of scenarios, right? So obviously writing it down is the obvious solution, because before I go, I don't want to ramble too far, but like there's definitely something that I've seen on Reddit where people are wanting to like memorize their recovery phrase, and like I can never imagine. I don't know how like you can remember.
That's too difficult, man. Like 24 words plus the 25th word, which is like 100 characters. Like
if you're really doing it wild, yeah. If you have a 100-character passphrase, then I commend you, and you remember it. I commend you, but it's a lot, and you already like the 24 words are going to be as safe as can be. There's no reason other than, generally speaking, there shouldn't be such a big jump in security that you're going to get from using a passphrase. There's a specific use for the passphrase and plausible deniability. I think I talked about it before, but yeah. I'm not sure if I got the question 7-7, but yeah.
But you can also use multisig, because that's an easier way to secure a transaction. It's a 2FA for your transaction basically. So you don't need, even if you don't have a passphrase, your transaction, your funds will not be moved without permission. So basically that also you can use.
Yeah, multisig is really criminally underused. So passphrase, I think one of our trainers always says criminally underused, but also multisig, if you are at the level where you really want to make sure that it's only 2 or 3, 4 or 5, whatever it might be, that's a great way to do it. And yes, yeah, imagine remembering the whole thing. Yeah.
It's going to be difficult.
But yeah, Digital Llamas definitely pop that through the submission process specifically, and they'll go with you from there if it's in scope and everything like that. But yeah,
I guess we have reached to the end.
don't want to keep you guys too long, so what I'll do, it will be a last call for questions, and I think I'll go through as well about making sure, again, I think we will always go through this and until our voice is a horse. Don't give out those 24 words. We'll never ask for it. No one should ask for it, no matter who they are. And don't sign any transactions you don't trust.
Always verify, and do not interact with any airdrop or any scammy NFTs that you don't know and that you don't own. They want, in the end, you will just go to a portal where they will ask you for a 24-word seed phrase, basically. That's it.
And yeah.
And always download the Ledger Live app from our website, only because that's the official way of downloading the app. Any other app store or Microsoft store does not have the official web apps basically for Ledger Live. It's only via our website. And you can also check the genuineness of your device and the website and the app that you download. There's a help center article that explains the steps. And do not enter your 24 words anywhere except the device, basically.
Jordan, you have a good question. If you leave Ledger Live open on your laptop, can someone take the funds without the Ledger device? No, they cannot. That being said, though, if they have, let's say, so I want to paint a quick scenario for you before we go. We'll take yours as the last question, Jordan. Let's say someone has another device with your recovery phrase. Then it doesn't matter. They can use it anywhere with that laptop, without that laptop. So it's all about the recovery phrase, not the Ledger Live, not about the specific device at all. So remember, you can leave it open if you want, if you don't mind people seeing how much you have and things like that. That's totally fine. They'll normally need to have the device with the PIN. If they don't have, even if you don't have the device and you don't have the PIN as well, and you don't have the recovery phrase, then even you can't access it as well. So one thing to keep in mind.
And if you want to don't want everyone to see your assets and all, you can also set up a password lock. So if you go to settings and then I think in accounts or general, there's an option to set up the password lock. So yeah, it will automatically lock the Ledger Live once there's the inactivity or something. So yeah, you can use that as well.
Cool. Yep. Yeah, just you can follow that process. Digital Llamas, Armas, and they'll be able to go through that with you. I'm just trying to cover my bases as well. But then if you follow those steps, they'll be able to go through that with you and go from there. Yeah, I don't want to speak for them or anything like that. That's why I was like, from my side, that's what I would think. And yeah, if you follow those steps, you should be all good.
Yeah, or you can just send an introductory email and then they can explain you the steps in detail if you want to get a clear information on this.
Cool. All right. Well, I think I don't think we'll mention it again because I'm probably really burning you out with that message. But yeah, stay safe in the markets out there, guys. Remember, we got another one. We got the streams on every week and everything like that. So we'll always try to answer your questions as quickly as we can.
And tomorrow we'll be live on Twitter at the same time. Our official account is @ledger_support. That's what I'm going to type as well, so you don't fall for the scammy ones. So again, you can join us and then you can ask your questions live. There you have an option to raise your hand and then invite you to the stage, and then you can actually speak and ask your questions rather than typing it. So that can be also better if you want to do that.
All right. Well, stay safe in the market out there, guys. Zen Crypto, just as a heads up, it's coming. Just keep an eye out is what I can say there. All right. Thanks, guys. Have a good day.